Hello everyone, it's Ash here and welcome to a special Survive and Kill the Killers in Area 51 video. Today I'll be sharing with you some of my tips and tricks that I use in Juggernaut mode. I hope that you guys implement these tips and tricks into your gameplay and maybe learn a thing or two along the way. Without further ado, here are my tips and tricks that I use all the time in Juggernaut mode. So the first trick that I want to tell you about is the Raygun. Now, what's so special about the Raygun? Well, it's actually the best gun in the game for Juggernaut mode, as it does the best damage and has a lot of ammo and has a great fire rate. So, where are the only places I can find the Raygun? Well, there are actually 3 places that you can only find it. The places are the cargo area, mineshaft, and the office room. Now, the chances of one spawning in any of these 3 locations is 3%. So yeah, if you find one, then consider yourself lucky because these ray guns don't spawn that often. Homer is not giving them away. And yeah, consider yourself lucky if you do find one because it is basically the best gun in the game. If you do get this, the round's pretty much over for the Juggernaut because it has a great fire rate, bullet speed, and damage. I recommend getting the Raygun pretty early, so go to these 3 rooms right at the start of the game and pretty much ignore all the other rooms because the Raygun is the best gun in the game. It dominates everything. So, on to our next tip. Now, my next tip for Juggernaut is quite a big one. Get every gun you see, even if it's worthless, because if you get a good gun and no other guns and that big gun runs out of ammo, then you're not really going to have much to defend yourself. So that's why I recommend that you reload regularly and get every single gun that you see, even if it's like a Deagle or an M14, because every gun is worth something in this game mode. Because otherwise, you run out of ammo, you'll be pretty much defenseless unless you have the soda, and you'll probably die pretty quickly if the Juggernaut is targeting you. So yeah, that's my tip there. Now, my next tip might throw a few people who are new to the game mode off. Now, do not pack-a-punch weapons. Do not pack-a-punch them. Only pack-a-punch weapons if you really must. If there's like a try-hard going around and you're one of the last people left and you're near the pack-a-punch machine and you have a lot of points, I recommend you only pack-a-punch there. But only pack-a-punch guns that are actually worth something. Don't pack-a-punch the Raygun because it's good already. Don't really pack-a-punch the M1911 unless you know where all the ammo box spots are. Maybe pack-a-punch the rapid guns if you have time, but yeah, don't pack-a-punch every single gun that you find every round because it will just waste your points, and every time then you just waste 250 points usually, and by the time you know it, you'll have no money left in your little bank. My next tip is something that I use personally. You can do it if you want or you can't. It doesn't really affect the game too much, but I prefer not to go head to head with the Juggernaut until I have some kind of decent weapon like the MG42. Now, a lot of people choose to just go for the Juggernaut right at the start of the game. Now, the problem with this is that the M1911 doesn't have the best ammo supply, and it will probably run out of ammo pretty quickly if you just try and do this. But I prefer to get some kind of better gun, even if it's something like the M14 and Deagle, before going head-to-head with the Juggernaut, so I have more of a chance of winning. But yeah, you can use it if you want to, you don't have to, it's kind of just a personal thing I do, as I said at the start. But anyway, yeah, on to our next tip. Now, this next tip is probably the most important tip ever, because you need to remember every single gun location in Juggernaut mode. Otherwise, you'll just be opening pointless rooms trying to find who knows what. I haven't actually made a video on this, but Warship Sync has, and the link to that video will be in the description. There, he goes in depth about every single gun location in the map, and where guns can spawn as well, which will be probably very helpful for you newcomers to Juggernaut. Now to go on if you're Juggernaut. Now for Juggernaut, the #1 killer that I recommend that anyone becomes is Freddy Krueger. Why Freddy Krueger and not Sonic? It's because that Freddy Krueger has a better hitbox than other killers. He can hit from players from like 2 meters away and has a lot of health and speed. So I definitely recommend whenever you're Juggernaut, become Freddy Krueger straight away. If you have killer choice. Well, any killer's really good. I also recommend maybe be Alien or Sonic as well because they are both extremely good for Juggernaut as well, because they are both fast and they both deal a lot of damage. But really, it's your choice who you can be on Juggernaut. Now, another good tip for Juggernaut is that you check the cameras early. Now, the cameras not only provide you with all of the gun's location, it might tell you where the Juggernaut is located, which can kind of help you if you don't know what's going on. And yeah, so the cameras at the start I'd highly recommend using, especially if you spawned near the cargo area, because that is a spawn location. So yeah, use the cameras early on and you might gain an advantage. My next tip is one that you should do every round. And when I say every round, I mean every round. And that is equipping the armor. But Ash, the armor is useless, some might say. Well, the armor is actually not. I talked to Homer Mafia 1 himself, and he said the armor has a 20% damage reduce, which can definitely help if you're dealing with killers such as Freddy Krueger or Leatherface. So yep, I'd highly recommend that you equip the armor at the start of every round, even before the Raygun. Yes, it is that important that you equip the armor. I know this next strat is a bit toxic, but whenever you're not shooting, you should always equip the Soda Game Pass if you have it. This will help you regain your health if it's lost, and yes, it regains 25 HP. Now, a lot of people don't like this, but I think it's kind of good, but kind of not. So I'd recommend anyway that you just use the soda when you're not holding a gun, because it does heal you from any damage that you might have taken. If you do encounter strong killers such as Sonic EXE, then I recommend that you heal as much as you can. Even if you've lost like 10 HP, heal when you can. Otherwise, you'll have no limbs left for you to heal at all. So guys, I think that's going to be it for my tips and tricks video. If you did enjoy, then make sure you subscribe, like and comment, because it lets me know that the content I am making is good for you guys. And make sure you follow my socials as well, because I'll be posting some news, memes, and other stuff that you might find interesting. Links for those will be in the description. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in probably the next video. Goodbye!